Hello, I'm ToycatA, and welcome back to the last episode of the Update Adventures Let's Play of 2020. This is the weekly update as to what's been going on both in my survival world as well as life, the universe, and everything in between. And today I want to show you all of my cactus, because when it comes to big farms in Minecraft, I'm a big fan as long as they're pointless, and that's why I have this mega cactus farm. It's actually not so big, it's just been running for a really long time, but basically I have far too many cactuses in Minecraft. It's a problem, and it's a problem that only grows for every minute that I spend near this cacti farm, because every single time a cactus grows up, what do you know, it causes it to come through here and leads straight to me. It's a big problem. I've got too much cactus, and honestly, besides smelting them and maybe using that to make some cactus green, we could maybe make an argument for, like, you know, besides smelting them for experience, there's pretty much nothing I can do with all the cactus, right? Except maybe there is. I think there's lots of fun ideas I can do with cactus, like, you know, what if we put some cactus right there? That'd be funny, right? But I think a way better idea than just placing one cactus down on the ground, or two cactus, or even the mighty 3 cactus, I figure a way better idea than doing that is if we go to the corner of my world. Because one of the very first Minecraft ideas I ever had, one of the first things I did on just like a private world while I was playing around, was like, you know, what if we tried to use a cactus to build a house? And obviously that's a silly idea for a lot of reasons, but what if we kind of went for the 2020 version of that and we built a sky height cactus, so that way you can't get through the cactus, you have to go around. What if I made a little bit of a base, or, you know, let's not even go that fancy. What if I just stacked cactus on top of each other? And obviously, you know, most of the time if you want to do this, it's going to be very painful. Fun fact, cactuses hurt, and the more you hurt yourself on them, the closer you get to death. Can you get to sky height before the cactuses kill you? I would wager not, given that I'm on about half health, and I'm about 40 blocks above the ground, but you can do this if you really want to, or you can do the much more logical thing, in my opinion, and you can use scaffolding. Good old scaffolding will allow you to place your cactuses down. I thought I switched those 2 blocks, but Minecraft disagrees. But, you know, the good old scaffolding will allow you to place cactuses around it as much as you like, so we can do this, and then we can do this, hypothetically, then this, and it means you can place cactuses even above the 3 that they'll naturally grow at, and you can do this without any damage to yourself. So the question is, what does it look like when you place a cactus all the way up to sky height? And the answer is one that no one should know the answer to, but let's find out today, and let's make ourselves a lovely cacti build, because you know what, it's the last episode of 2020. If we didn't do something dumb, I would be you know, misleading you all. I would be letting you all down, because when you come to your weekly update adventures, you want to see something weird in the world. Actually, you know, let's talk about something, because when people do show up to these videos, when people do watch these, one of the expectations people have, one of the things that I guess anyone who's ever done Let's Plays on YouTube knows, is that if you do like a part 2 of a building something, so if I do part 2 of my lighting up the world project, or part 2 of my Netherrack mountain, although realistically it's like part 15 of those things, doing a part 2 is always going to be less viewed than the first part, because people want to just watch something and almost like stand alone. Even though this Let's Play is 480 something episodes long, even though it's deliberately designed to be watched in order so you can see the world, it also, you know, every episode deliberately stands alone by itself, because every single week someone is finding out about the Let's Play and they're going, huh, yeah, could do with that. Also, see, I have fewer scaffolding, something that's just made from bamboo and string, than I do cactus. It's a serious problem, and now to fix that problem, I'll go get some more scaffolding. And on the way, let's get rid of this, because this probably shouldn't be there in the first place. I used it many weeks ago and then just have been putting off patching it up. And given that I made a hole here recently, you know what, we can do 2 things at once. Wow, look at ToycatA being a responsible adult, or at least a vaguely responsible adult, and patching up some issues for once. By the way, I deliberately have these furnaces set up so that all of my bamboo feeds into this chest, which then feeds into this furnace with all of my cactus, and then boom, we can turn cactuses into experience very slowly. I don't know why I do that. It's not even a large amount of XP, it's not the best source in my world, but it is a source of experience, I guess. And on Bedrock it seems to be particularly high. Fun fact, if you want to get a lot of XP, use cacti maybe, if you really want. I don't think anyone should want to do that. But anyway, we've got ourselves some scaffolding. Let's go higher now. Anyway, one of the interesting truths that I learned from that kind of lesson about, like, oh, people don't actually want to see every, you know, one of the first things I tried on YouTube was I figured, you know what, rather than doing a Let's Play where you'd see like some deliberately cropped out moments, what if it was actually like watching someone play Minecraft? What if it was actually like, let's play Minecraft together. Let's start a world. If you don't want to play Minecraft right now, or you just can't for whatever reason, or you just want to see what the game's like, let's actually show you what it's like to play. And my first ever Let's Play, I recorded every single moment I ever played on that world. It was, the whole concept of the series at that point was like, let's show you every single moment of a Minecraft world, start to the end, which I still think there's like some fun to that, but it's not what most people want. One of the things I very quickly learned is, lessons like the whole, don't start a Let's Play episode midway through a build. People want to see it from the beginning. If you watch a Let's Play, you want to be able to see like how a thing was built. You don't want to be midway through it and being like, how did he place all that scaffolding in the middle of the cacti? How did that work? You don't want to be confused by that. You want to know exactly how and why we got to a thing. And that actually kind of makes some sense, that not every YouTube viewer watches every video, even though I want to believe that everyone who watches this Let's Play today has watched all of them. The interesting truth is that most people have not. The vast majority, it's literally, if you have watched every Let's Play episode and you're saying that honestly, which statistically you're not, but we'll assume your honesty, it's like, oh yeah, so the odds of you having done that are about 0. Actually, let's just put it this way. You are one of the 0.1% of people. You are one of 0.1% of people who have done it. There's 1,000 people roughly who have watched every Let's Play episode. You can tell from analytics. I'd suspect it's even lower. 1,000 is me estimating generously. And as a result, most people don't watch them all the way through. And therefore, here's the question: should you make for the hypothetical audience you want to make videos for, or should you realize who's actually watching them and make videos they will enjoy? That's a big struggle a lot of YouTubers get when they have some fame spurt. People always assume the best thing that can happen to you is like, oh yeah, having big YouTube success, because that equals money and fame and all that sort of stuff. But a lot of people end up with the struggle of like, oh, now I have to make videos not for a hypothetical audience. It's not for the imaginary audience I want to make videos for. There are a real set of people out here. It's like how various YouTubers started. Wait, actually, Captain Sparkles is my favorite example of this one, because we're talking about Minecraft YouTube is what this video is going to be all about. Placing cacti, talking about Minecraft YouTube, because it's been on my mind a lot. But Captain Sparkles is an example of a guy. His old YouTube username was Pros Don't Talk Shit. I'm literally just describing what his YouTube username was. And then he decided to, luckily, as a joke actually, for Minecraft, change to Captain Sparkles. It's a joke name, like, because it's so like obviously, like Kitty and like it's clearly a joke. Except actually, that name is the thing that got him famous. He would have that one dumb decision, that joke decision, ended up being a huge gain financially, fame-wise for someone like that. And it's the same with a lot of other people. They make videos for one audience, and then they accidentally explode with a different one, and they have a decision to make. Do you just do you shun on your audience? Do you go, oh, I can't believe people who actually what's an example of me? Like people who like unironically are just like, ha ha ha, this thing laughs in insert person here. It's like you're laughing from inside, insert IL Mango. You're laughing from inside Grian. Like, did he eat you? Is that what you're saying when you're doing that sort of stuff? Like, there are like entire communities of people where you're like, do you want these people on your side? And the answer should be always yes, right? But that's always been my take on things. But a lot of people just decide the opposite. They're like, no, I'm gonna keep doing what I want regardless of all of this. There's a very big YouTuber who for years just didn't turn on ads on his channel, even though it would have helped him in a lot of ways and given him money. Because it was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't need the money, so I'm just not going to. I think the name is Penguin Zero. I forget what he calls himself these days, but he's actually grown in a different way, become more of a like casual YouTuber. Because eventually, even if they turn it down for a little bit, eventually the pressure of like, actually, my life could be a lot better if I give people what they want. It's an interesting, philosophy, right? Also, we're gonna go to sleep. I think I have a bed somewhere around here near my giant cocoa bean farm. Oh no, it's inside the N cube, my nearest bed, which it's a little bit annoying getting there. Also, no, I don't want to start a raid. No. Okay, do you still get the raid back if you fly away fast enough? Or is it just now? I have to fight another raid around that N cube. Guess what we're doing today when we've placed our cacti. Anyway, so the struggle here is kind of that big internal debate that everyone has all the time when it comes to any money-making activity. Do you want to do the thing that you most enjoy, or do you want to do the thing that is most valuable in terms of, do you want to do what you want to do, or do you want to do what those around you want you to do? This is, I would say, one of the big questions of the modern world. And, the correct answer is kind of like you've got to find the line in between. But the reason that's, comes up is you might say, no, obviously, you just do what you want to do, ToycatA. And I am very... you are in a very fortunate situation if you can say that, or maybe I'm the wrong one for saying that you're not. But like, to me, you are in a very lucky situation that you can say, yeah, of course you just do what you want all the time, and then things work out. But for most people, that's not how it is, right? For most people, there are actual consequences and downsides to taking wrong actions. And as a result of that, as an interesting little side benefit of that, it means that, like you have to make the decision. At some point, there is a trade-off between the value of what you want and what other people want. You might just enjoy making other people happy, and sometimes that comes into conflict with you and who you are. Maybe just doing something as simple as like, oh, I always want to offer people drinks so that they're thirsty and they're well hydrated. I spend a lot of money on drinks of people they don't sometimes take, and it puts a toll on me, or whatever dumb thing is like that. But on the YouTube level, people say, oh yeah, just do what you want. Insert YouTube here. We'll watch it. But then that's not how the algorithm works. The algorithm won't show you videos you're less likely to watch all the way through, even though you might be willing to give a video a try if it's just me placing cactuses for 60 minutes with no commentary attached, if hypothetically that's what I wanted to do. I assure you it's not, by the way. But like, I think I prefer the opposite. I think I prefer a black screen where I just talk. Actually, no, I like the Minecraft in the background. I like this feel of like we're playing games, talking about the real issue behind it, right? That's something I enjoy a lot personally. But anyway, so like the big debate is like, should you just do the thing you like? And people always say, yeah, just do the thing that you enjoy, and then the rest will work itself out. And maybe that's because we all want to believe that everyone's doing what they enjoy, but that's also not how it works. Like, I can tell my best friend, just do what you enjoy, and we'll have fun hanging out. And then he's like, well, I really enjoy beating people. Like, one of the things that blew my mind as being a teenager is a lot of, like, people... Maybe it's because people watch wrestling. Maybe it's just inherently violent tendencies amongst, like, teenage boys especially. But it's like, people would just, like to fight. It's called play fighting, or... I don't know what the words even are, but it's like, yeah, we're just gonna try and hurt each other less than we get hurt, or whatever. It's like, that's not fun to me. I don't want you to just do that. If that's what you enjoy, I'm gonna not be in the room for that. Or, like, what I just enjoy is I just enjoy, like, I don't know, committing crimes against strangers. And it's like, if your favorite thing to do in the world is murder, don't do that, actually. This is always the asterisk we have to throw on, like, oh, do whatever you want, and then the rest will work itself out. Unless what you want is murder, in which case, actually, don't do whatever you want. The rest probably won't work itself out, actually. Come to think of it, maybe you should not be doing that. And, maybe I think about phrases too much. Maybe what I realize is that every phrase has its own little exception to it. When we say that, like, oh yeah, there's a whole world out there and it's filled with opportunities. It's like, not for everyone. It's not filled with opportunities. There's also lots of empty spaces. You ever think about how much of the Earth is just... isn't it crazy? We live on a planet where so many people... There's like 8 million people crammed into a city the size of London. The reason it's the size of London is because it is London. There's like millions of people crammed in this tiny space. But also there are many... there are certain places where there are thousands of kilometers. There are areas the size of London where 0 people live. Not one person, not, like, oh, some people come through here. There are areas on the Earth that no person has stepped foot yet. But yet we still choose to congregate in the same places. That tells me that the things that humans value most are actually not found everywhere. They're actually found in a few specific places. Or like, people say birds of feather flock together, or like opposites attract, which first of all, ignoring that those two phrases are opposites, it's like, actually opposites don't attract. Do you think that the, people who are Nazis, their favorite people are No, they hang out with other. Do you think people who are really big advocates for, Karl Marx, Marxists, I think is the term. Do you think they're a really big fan of those people I just mentioned? And you don't want to say their name too many times in one video or you get demonetized. Is that a thing? What if all I want to do for a video is just talk about various various phrases and how they're not so interesting? And how they're incorrect in some cases. Would you like me to just nitpick some phrases, like that's the way the cookie crumbles? Actually, you know what? Cookies and the way they crumble is not entirely random. It just seems random to our brain. Doesn't mean you should accept them as random. Doesn't mean we should just say, oh, anyway, with that said, you get the point, right? I could do that, but it's not what people want. There's this eternal crisis between what people want from you and what you want from you. And I think one of the most important skills that we don't think about because it conflicts with the way we want to believe the world is is how do you find the balance between those two things? One of the things I really like about YouTube is I'm basically doing that balance every day. And one of the things about that is like with a Let's Play, there's a few specific criteria, right? One is like do something interesting enough that people are like, oh, how's he gonna do that? Like, oh, why? I think honestly, of my channel, it's never how's he gonna do that. Everyone knows how you make a cactus to sky height. It's like, why is he gonna do that? And the answer is because someone left a comment saying you should make a sky height cactus, and I was like, that's really stupid. Actually, you know, I'm gonna do that. That was, if you watched my live stream earlier in this week, I think it was lighting up the world, lighting up your Christmas Eve with torches. Someone said this idea, and I was like, well, that's dumb. Actually, I'll do it. But you know, the thing is an interesting thing is like on YouTube, what you want, right? What you think you want is you want to know why. But the interesting thing, you know, my incentive, and I think any art, you know, like let's call it art for the sake of this, is are YouTube videos art? You could almost certainly make an argument they're not. But let's say that YouTube videos are a form of art at the very least. They're a form of artistic expression or something like that. You know, like assuming that is true, one of the things that people always want is they want to know the why, right? Why are you doing a thing? That is something I've noticed a lot with my channel, people just being like, so why do you have a flint and steel with mending on, ToycatA? You know, like that's a question I've received so many times, even though I made a whole video about it, because people, fun fact, going back to that previous point, not everyone watches every video on a channel. I wish it was true. I wish there was some way to make it true. I mean, obviously, I'd also make a lot of money if it was, so maybe that's the real reason. But like, when you make a video, literally 2 months ago, and you have to explain the same thing again, it like, something about that grates on you, and it's like, oh, this isn't fun, having to do, you know, that this isn't what I would choose to do, but also it can be valuable to explain for newcomers around there. So anyway, the big conflict between what you want to do and what people want you to do, what people want of you versus what you want of you, is a big thing that's hard to find your way through. And one of the interesting quirks of this is like, so everyone when they see a weird project are like, why did you decide to do that? Just why did you put your overworld in the nether? Why are you working on making a nether in the overworld? Why is there a nether in your end? And you know, clearly that just means you're missing an end in your overworld, right? You know, people ask these questions all the time, but the moment you give someone the answer to why, it actually ruins a lot of the point. The reason, one of the things I guess I only realized through this is like, you know, we need to go get some more cacti. We made it up to 151, which I imagine looks pretty cool if we see it from, say, this jungle tree over here. Yeah, it looks so cool. You know, it genuinely doesn't look like cactus from this distance, which is good. I like that, actually. Let's go get some more cacti. More cactuses have been acquired. Let's go place them back. Or let's be smart and let's go to sleep first, because the sun is setting. But, you know, as the sun sets, I want to mention that people think they know what they want, and maybe that's true. You know, people want to know the why, but as soon as you tell people the why, it loses a lot of its value. You know, the rule about a magician never sharing their tricks, that's not done because they want to hide their... You know, I used to think like, oh, they just don't want you to be able to do it. They want to hide their tricks themselves. It's this whole proprietary thing. It's like, no, every magician knows how every other magician works, and you can learn about how it works too. But the thing is, when you start telling, once you know how magic works, it's less exciting to watch. It's exciting because you don't know. The mystery of how is actually something that appeals to people. And again, even though it seems weird that it seems like, no, actually, as soon as you watch a trick, the one thing you want more than anything else in the world is to know why. Of course, that's what I want. I don't want to not know a trick. But that's the conflict between what you think you want and what you actually would find value in. Maybe you would, you know, the satisfaction of being able to get an answer immediately is actually, you know, it's a good thing. Like, oh, the way this magic trick worked, where he, you know, like he got the ball from inside of his mouth, even though it was just inside the audience, is like, oh, it's a second ball, and he like, it was in his palm. It's called palming it, when you move something from your palm to somewhere else, and it makes it look like it was there the whole time. It's like, that's how this works. There was this amazing Penn and Teller trick where like they make someone's phone appear in the audience, and it's like, wait, how did they do that? And what it was is they just had a duplicate. I think it was an iPhone 7, the most common phone at the time. And one of the things they did at the start of the trick is they made people show them their phones so they could pick one at random. They didn't pick one at random. They picked an iPhone 6 or whatever. As soon as you learn that, it's like, oh, so they just... The way the iPhone appeared in the middle of the fish was or like they put the iPhone in the fish before all of this, and all of the other parts of the magic were just misdirection. You know, you like being... Yeah, that misdirection is something no one wants to want. No one wants to be lied to. No one wants to be kind of tricked in that way, perhaps you could say. Well, so let's place scaffolding as we're going up here. Why not, you know? No one wants to be lied to. No one wants to be tricked. But actually, some people do prefer that to the alternative. Like, it makes some things more interesting. If you, Banksy is a famous street artist in the UK, and I used to wonder, like, what's the whole, what is the deal with that? Like, he's just a guy who just does stuff on the side. He could make a lot of money, but he deliberately doesn't. And it's like, yeah, this is the street mystique. By not telling people why it is. If you just said, oh yeah, this is a way I raise publicity for my non alias works, because there are people who can get in contact with him. He's not actually a street artist that no one knows. It's like, oh yeah, he has a name, he has a team of like PR artists, etc. And it's like, well, when you learn that, it's like, oh, so he's just a guy who sells art that has money, and like presumably the political messaging behind it is a thing that also adds to the value of it. It's not so interesting once you learn, it's learning how the sausage is made, is not only sometimes gross and ruins a thing for you, but also it can affect your enjoyment. And as a result of that, one of the things I think about, like, with Let's Plays, just knowing that like there are a few criteria for how Let's Play works, I try to start or be doing something at least relatively new. If it's an old project, it's a new part of the old project where you don't need to know about the old parts, because people like this. I try to start with as little intro as possible now, because I like my old intro, but there is just, YouTube stats show that is not successful. A lot of people who are new to the series click out. Doing it now along Let's Play is something I do by accident all the time. We're already at 27 minutes. But, in spite of these things, these are all things that are avoidable. Like, there is only a certain length of video that you'll click on and be willing to watch without it being detrimental. Even though it might be fun for me to make an hour-and-a-half video, the best thing is to somehow make 2 45-minute videos from that, making the second one appealing in a different way to the first one. So that way, people who didn't click on the first one might like the second, or vice versa. There's a lot of weird, like, behind-the-scenes on how YouTube is made. And what you're meant to just tell people is the story of like, oh yeah, we do things just cuz. If you think about Apple, right, they buck the trend in the technology industry by basically ignoring their users. One of the things every other company did is like, oh yeah, we listen to user feedback and we try to work out from that what people like, and so we improve on what we have, etc., etc. And one of the things that Apple does almost every single year is they remove features that they already had. They're like, oh yeah, you want to be able to use a headphone jack? No, headphone jacks are worse. And it's like, oh, you still want it anyway? No, we're going to remove it. But you don't tell people that's the logic. You say, oh yeah, it was a design decision. It was a courageous leap that we made right here. And, surprisingly enough, like people when they don't know the answer to something will enjoy it much more than when they do know the answer. Why did they remove it? Because it cost $3. They had to make the phone an extra millimeter thick. And there are so many good alternatives that you should be buying anyway, some of which Apple themselves sell. If you tell people that, they're like, oh, that's no fun, I just won't buy one. If you give people no reason, like if you don't explain something, the mystery behind why is so much more interesting. Like a mystery is something people love. I read so much about like the unsolved mysteries. Like this one that's become really popular in the UK again is a guy who, a 14-year-old who just went missing one day, and then later it was found out he bought a one-way ticket to London. He's seen on the London CCTV, and then never again. And it's like, he's been missing for 10 years. They reckon he's out there somewhere living a full adult life. Maybe he just wanted to escape his parents or something. It's like, no, he was lured on the internet by a dodgy person, probably, because his parents say he had no access to the internet. But it's like, a 14-year-old, they're going to have access to the internet. They had... he took his PSP with him. There's a browser on that. Even if he didn't, like using a friend's laptop, just the parents are like, oh, we totally loved us. He'd never want to leave us. It's like, what parent goes, I am the worst parent alive? Like when you look into any unsolved mystery story, you can think about it forever, and then you can conclude like the most likely outcome. And the most likely outcome is usually less exciting than like, oh yeah, think about the Bermuda Triangle. It's like, ooh, there's this mysterious place, planes go missing. Maybe it's the Kraken. Maybe it's something underground. It's like, maybe it's an area of the United States where there's, because it's to the east of the US where there's no landmass for a very long time. Maybe it's an area that has very little radar to track aircraft, and maybe also it, maybe it doesn't have radar, and also it's known for bad weather that is hard to predict. Maybe that's the case. Maybe the reason all the planes go missing is because planes can easily run out of fuel, and if they don't have anyone to talk to, then it's going to be rough. You know, the unsolved mysteries. You know, we never find out about an unsolved mystery that gets solved, and it's just as mysterious. Or when we do, it's huge news. Most unsolved mysteries that get solved, it's like, oh, we found the body. Yeah, it turns out he went to go kill himself. Oh, yeah, exciting. Or like, oh, we found the body. Turns out he's in the cellar of some old man basement. Huh, yeah. You know, like, the solving of a mystery, interestingly enough, is, even though it's what you want, with all your body and all your heart, it's actually the least satisfying resolution. Whereas thinking about something forever is so much more. You know, this is why, I just watched Now You See Me Too, and, the whole movie works of this, like, ooh, how, there's lots of reveals they have to make, like, how did they get taken to Macau against their will, etc., etc. And, like, they always tried to make it like, ooh, it's a mystery, and then you show people, and it's more fantastical than you could have imagined. And it's like, okay, yeah. The moment you know about something, it's less exciting, unless the less exciting thing, the solved thing has mysteries in it too, like, but if that's true, how do they do this? If that's true, how do they do that? It's interesting stuff. And basically, I like magic. I really enjoy watching magic shows. And I know it took me a long time to know this, because I used to, like, I needed to know how did they do a thing. And then I realized, oh yeah, you can just enjoy magic, not think about it, and you'll have a much better time, even though you think you won't. And I think that's maybe how it goes with Minecraft YouTube too. Do you want to know that I make what I want to make? But I always have the consideration of how do I make this semi-appealing? How do I make the first 30 seconds tell you about the rest? How do I, you know, because if I don't make the videos even somewhat appealing to the audience, then people won't like them. How do you want to know if like, you know, your consideration of what you think you want is less important to me than what you actually want? Or are those things the sort of things that make you go, oh, yeah, I guess. I remember someone, you know, someone recently, like, realized from, it was like a friend of mine who, like, follows the YouTube channel. They're like, oh, the reason you make the video, you know, like, one of the considerations you have when making a video is how many people watch it. Didn't consider that, like, because a lot of people don't know that YouTubers aren't just making videos for their subscribers. Did you know 66% of people who watch this video aren't subscribed? I guess people do know about that now because of that whole, like, oh, I'd like to grow my channel, please subscribe meme. Wait, I'll send my assistant the actual numbers. Wow, look how many people aren't subscribed. Bet you wish you were one of those people who were subscribed. But no, I bring this stat up not to say, oh yeah, lots of people don't subscribe even though they should. Because actually, from those people who aren't subscribed, you know, maybe they shouldn't be subscribed. Maybe they don't want to be subscribed. So what is the point in them doing so? You know, maybe that's the real case. Maybe you just watch a channel casually. Maybe that's where I fit for you. Maybe you're like, yeah, don't like this ToycatA guy. You're not meant to admit that. You're meant to pretend every one of your viewers is a mega fan, some of which have just forgotten to hit subscribe, so that you yourself are like, you know what? Maybe I'm a mega fan who just forgot to hit subscribe. You know, I'm glad that this YouTuber here gets me. But yeah, it's one of those things, right? It's one of those things where we don't know the mystery we want versus what we don't. But yeah, did you know most people aren't subscribed to this channel? And I'm therefore making videos for a group of people who are subscribed. They're my core. Then there's like a group of those who are subscribed who are like a core audience. Then there's a group of people who aren't subscribed that watch regularly. And there's people who are going to see this as their first ever video. I have to somehow, while also doing all those other things, convince them to subscribe maybe. And although the Let's Plays are never built for that, realistically, no one's subscribing to watch me place cacti ever taller. I've gone so tall now that the realm's render distance literally doesn't let me see anything but the moon and the sun. Fun fact, you can always see the moon if you go high up enough in your Minecraft world. Bet you didn't know that. And anyway, so the key takeaway here is just remember the way you're presented something can often be different to the way it is. And this is something I struggle with. Oh god, not cactus green. Cactus regular or green cactus. But this is something I kind of actually struggle with because I am a big believer in like honesty. I don't think lying is good. But also there are times where like, you know, in telling something, you have to tell something misleading. You know, like clickbait, I think is bad. I'm very deliberately not, I don't have misleading things. But I think like, clickbait now just kind of means like, oh yeah, an appealing thumbnail. So often the stands of YouTube have been like, oh, don't have appealing thumbnails, that's cheating. And then that becomes the new norm. So often there's like, oh, don't do the whole tell people to subscribe with your subscription stats. Now that's just the standard. It's like, ToycatA, why aren't you telling people how many people aren't subscribed to your channel? so that they'll consider subscribing. You know, you're missing out on all those subscribers. And maybe I am. Maybe by not doing that at the end of my video, I'm missing out. But it's one of those personal decisions I'm making that maybe isn't even that smart. I want to believe I'm making it because I'm like, I don't want to just give into a trend. I want my videos to be different to other videos that you watch. Even though everyone's fighting for the same group of people, I'd rather have a better time myself. But is that something that's good? Is that something you enjoy? Or does that actually make the videos less worthwhile? If I'm making a video of just me making tool cacti, which I did not appreciate how long it takes to make this many tool cactuses, by the way. I thought we'd get to work on the birch forest by the end of this video. But I made a misunderstanding right there. Honestly, you know, when we're this high up, it doesn't even matter that it's nighttime. It just looks like we're in space placing cacti. And that's what I love. So what have I been up to this last week? That's a regular feature of the Let's Play. I don't have a vlog series on this channel, so people ask, like, so what's been going on with your life, ToycatA? Things have been a little wild, I guess I would say. Honestly, my life has nothing going on right now. All my plans are being regularly cancelled by changes in rules that exist in the UK. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but like, I really regret being in the UK right now. The one reason that I need to be in the UK is like, this is where my friends and family live. I also kind of like it in the long run. I want to settle down here eventually. But like in terms of the short term, I enjoyed America. And you might be like, oh, but America's filled with virus stuff. And it's like, not only is, you know, are there no like restrictions there, but like, you know, restrictions are just the cost of saving lives, right? But it's like, oh, they save more lives with no restrictions than the UK has with what we've done on. Like, everyone had to make huge sacrifices that actually led to fewer people being saved in the UK than if a comparable country doing nothing. And it's like, oh, that's that's something interesting, isn't it? And you know, I think a lot about rules and how they are, because this year has been so interesting in terms of rules, right? Because there are rules or laws, or whatever they get called at a given time, that are always changing. And I think one of the consistent themes you see, you know, because when in America, the rule is basically just wear a mask, do whatever you want otherwise. Like, it will vary from place to place, and some places you have to quarantine if you come from out of state, but it's unenforced. So in reality, the only rule that is ever actively, even semi-enforced, is like, you know, wear a mask, because masks protect other people from you, and you from other people, some smaller amount maybe, we don't know, whatever. Anyway, so that's like the one simple rule. And it's interesting because, first of all, not only can some people not follow that one rule, but also it's interesting to realize, because when countries have crazy strict rules, it's very hard for people to follow those rules. And when you can't follow a rule 100%, we've got this kind of attitude, and I don't even disagree with it. I think it's got some real valid legs to it. We've kind of got this funny attitude where it's like, if you can't do something 100%, why do it any percent? I think a good term for this is like the no true Scotsman fallacy, or like there's always like insert thing here in name only. Like there's in America, if you follow the political parties, there's Democrats in name only, and there's Republicans in name only. In the UK, there's Brexit in name only. There's like doing a thing in name only. Like, oh yeah, you're a Minecrafter in name only because you don't even make cactus farms all the way to sky high. You know, making some rule and insisting that if you don't follow that rule, you're not a real part of the group, because you don't even make sky high cactus walls just to see how confusing they look. I can see nothing below this. It's actually a little bit terrifying, if I'm being honest. But you know, we have these like groups of like, and we do that. I used to think it was weird that we did that for groups. Like, oh yeah, you can't really be a you know, you're not really a person who believes in social good unless you believe in every type of social good. Like, unless you are, you know, like, you're not, just because you're anti, you know, what's a bad thing? If you're really anti racism, it doesn't matter if you don't also support good public transport, or whatever the link might be between two random ideas. You know, you're not really someone who believes in in freedom because you think we have to have driving licenses to drive, or, you know, whatever. Those are both real examples, by the way. Maybe I shouldn't be calling out people on their real ideas here. But the interesting, I'm gonna have to eat for this next step because I've run out of scaffolding, but I'm not using more. We're only 15 blocks away from the top. It's happening, but it's not happening because of scaffolding. That's for sure. Anyway, so yeah, we have like this idea that like if you're not 100% in on a group, you're not a part of that group at all. Oh, I think I have to. Okay, let's do this. Let's jump to this cacti. Actually, let's jump to this cacti here. And let's push that one back. And then let's go. Okay, so, oh. Oh, this is painful. Oh, this is very painful. I guess if we spend as much time jumping between the cacti as possible, we can probably save ourselves a lot of pain here, huh? Okay, let's just stack all the way to the top, and then we'll stack back down. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. You know, this is a hazardous activity. I didn't think about it as one, but I guess it is. And now we sit and we wait. So let's mention that, like, yeah, when rules get so complex, when rules become so unfollowable, people just don't, you know? Like, there's a lot of interesting examples of this. I'm gonna die. What is happening? I can't see anything. Okay, it's very scary when something like that happens, huh? But should I just use regular blocks and stack up? Actually, you know what? This was a fun idea. Oh, I don't have any regular blocks on me. I have some grass. I have 31 dirt, but it's in a shulker box, and if I open the shulker box and break it, there's a good chance it will hit a cactus and die forever. And that's not really what I want either. Do we have something in here at least? Got some birch logs, but it's... You know what, let's place one spruce wood plank. We can argue this was intentional. There we go. Now we can raise everything up by one. We can start to stack up... this is the problem with, like, cactus, because you can't place them on the sides of each other. I can't, like, place a block on the side of that to get over there. So what I have to do instead is eat another steak, and then we're going to go crazy. We're going to get all of this done, at least a few cacti to sky height. In fact, let's see if you can even notice the cacti being different if only some go to sky height. We'll go until we literally cannot go anymore, and we'll see how that affects things. Anyway, so, yeah, this idea of having groups that... Oh, God. Yeah, it kind of follows to rules that, like, you're a rule follower until you can't follow a rule very slightly, and now you're breaking rules anyway. So, for instance, okay. Yep, that was good. So that is now my sky height cactus. Technically speaking, I made a sky height cactus. You like that? I think you like that. And now, if you look at it from the ground, ooh, yeah, that was, I didn't realize it takes so much full damage. You actually can't, I think you can see the difference if you're really paying attention, but otherwise it just looks like it's a more interesting shape than it is. I think I accidentally did a good thing. It looks like a middle finger being pointed up. So if we go right next to this thing, just for fun, right? Let's see what it looks like. It looks something like, oh, that is intimidating, huh? It's like a mega cactus. I think by accident, I definitely wasn't going for this, but I'm going to claim that I was now and say art. It looks like a mega cactus by accident. Anyway, yeah, I just want to say that 2020 is over. There are going to be all sorts of people who claim that you're not in favor of the good if you don't do it with 100% in. Oh, God, we're going to lose so many scaffolding to the... Like, you can see them going missing as they hit the sides. This is beautiful. But I hope you will enjoy this video. I found it to be some fun, and I hope you did as well. If you ever want to place a lot of... Oh, God, yeah, we placed, like, 2.5 stacks, and we got 34 back. So, yeah, just remember, if you ever want to... I guess this is a great place to, like, have fun getting rid of blocks. Like, if I placed this sky height sugarcane here, that would go really well. But yeah, anyway, if you wanted to... If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a like. If you're not subscribed and you want to see more of my videos, or even want to do a nice thing for me, you can subscribe, because the end of 2020 is nigh, and indeed the end of days. And just remember, you watched someone place Cactus for 40 minutes, so if you didn't like this video enough to subscribe, that says something concerning about you, not me. But no, I'm looking forward to 2021, and one of the cool things is the world will be on the marketplace by then. I can guarantee it now, because it's as soon as everyone gets back from their holiday breaks, which last a very long time at big corporations, I have learned as a result of this process. As soon as everyone's back from their breaks, there will be the Let's Play World on the marketplace, and indeed I'm still working on Ultra Hard Survival 2. You know, things are going well in the ToycatA world. Wait, things are going pretty well in the ToycatA universe, all things considered, and I hope that in your universe, things are going well, or if not, improving at some pace. Because what matters not is the place you're in. What matters is the direction you're going in. And this video's direction is going over. Is that a direction even? You know, don't think about the precise words I said. Think about the bigger words that seemed fancier. Okay, thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, because I'll see you next time. Goodbye.